U.S. and Chinese military officials are holding 2 days of talks here in Washington. Their focus is on a military security code of conduct covering international waters and airspace. This after the U.S. says there was, quote, a close encounter between a Chinese jet and a U.S. Navy surveillance plane. It occurred last week in international airspace over the South China Sea. This week's meetings were previously scheduled but are expected to touch on the friction between the two countries. CCTV's Nathan King joins us now from the newsroom with more on all of this. Nathan.
Yeah, Mike, you're right. As you said, those talks have been previously scheduled and stem from a meeting between Chinese President Xi Jinping and U.S. President Barack Obama back in March. That's when both men agreed the need for an early formulation of a code of conduct between both militaries when it comes to issues of airspace and international waters. However, last week's alleged close encounter in the South China Sea has brought perhaps more urgency to the talks. Remember, the U.S. says one of its P-8 Poseidon anti-submarine and surveillance planes, pictured here, was buzzed by a Chinese J-11 fighter jet, also pictured. The U.S. Defense Department complained that the Chinese jet at one point came within 9 meters of the surveillance craft and performed a barrel roll and showed its weaponry. U.S. officials have also said similar incidents occurred in March, April and May. Now, China has rejected the accusations and says its jet was routinely dispatched to identify the aircraft. And in the wake of the incident, Beijing is calling on Washington to end flights so close to China's shores, which the U.S. says are legal. However, China says military surveillance so close to its coast are provocative. Both countries, however, say this kind of misunderstanding can lead to escalation, and both have agreed on the need for this code of conduct.
Well, Nathan, I guess the question then is, if the tables were turned, has the U.S. even said whether it would accept Chinese air patrols near the U.S. coast?
Well, it's not that said exactly, and did act with surprise, I can tell you, when it accused the Chinese of conducting surveillance from a ship off the coast of Hawaii back in July. But the U.S. has indicated that as more militaries patrol the Pacific, there will be more traffic inside countries' exclusive economic zones and more interactions with the U.S. military. This is why these discussions, Mike, on a code of conduct are key. For China, these so-called in-close reconnaissance flights by the U.S., which have been going on for decades, are a source of real concern for air safety and possible accidents, not to mention, of course, the thorny issue of sovereignty over airspace as well.
All right, Nathan King reporting from our newsroom. Thanks so much.